Hello Sentinels fans! I want to do another evolution video, and this one is going to be about 3 people, with 5 total identities, but only 2 decks. And some RPG stuff in there as well. Let's talk about Vanessa Long. Visionary is a powerful psychic in Sentinels, though she possibly has one of the roughest times among the cast. Seriously, her story gets pretty dramatic. So let's get to dramatic reading, but this time in first person. I apologize if my voice work is not that great. My name is Vanessa Long. I am a superpowered being, a result of experimentation by Project Cocoon. They took me as a baby, experimented on me, and forged me into a killing machine to fight in America's wars. This was not the life I wanted, but maybe I could change it. Maybe I can change my world for the better. I could create portals with my mind and affect space. Maybe I could affect time, too. I used every ounce of effort I could muster and bent reality to my needs. I created a portal, and I slipped through. I arrived on a world much like my own, but it was changed. It was brighter, happier, and optimistic. It wasn't perfect, but it was better than what I left. But I changed too. She picked up a hitchhiker. The presence wasn't me, but yet it still was. And she was malevolent. She was dangerous. She locked me away. I set out into this new world and found me, Vanessa Long. She was still a girl, just a child. I rescued her from Project Cocoon and returned her to her parents. She showed no evidence of abnormalities. I was relieved. She was safe, and then she developed powers. She fell into a coma as her mind conjured monsters out of the ether and attacked innocent people. It was terrible. It was magnificent. I helped her out of her coma. I calmed the fears and helped suppress her power. I was saddened that she had powers and inherited all the hardship that entails. Then I learned that I was a fixed point. Every universe had a Vanessa Long, and they all had powers. Not long after, me and the other heroes did battle with the dark god, Gloomweaver. During the fight, he overpowered me, and I had to shield myself. I wrapped myself in a cocoon to protect myself. And that's when she struck. Yes! She twisted my mind, wrenched it out of my control. I could not stop her. I could not. My name is Vanessa Long. I was the terror of my world. It was my playground. Until the heroes caught up with me. They killed me, but it wasn't the end. I crashed into the mind of one just like me. We were both disoriented, trapped in a world we were not familiar with. She imprisoned me. You were too dangerous. But that was okay. I am nothing if not patient. She ingratiated herself with the heroes of this world, fighting alongside them, or cleaning up their leftovers. There were times where I was almost found out. Once, the scientists under the employ of Dr. Stinton nearly found me with her. I took temporary control and killed the lot of them, then pinned their deaths on the extra-dimensional organization filter. Another time I took temporary control was to protect the young, dreaming Vanessa. She still needed to grow, and if she drew too much attention to herself, she would be found and detained. So I surgically cut into the minds of her parents, her neighbors, and her associates. I blocked their memories of the event, making it so that they had no idea what caused the event. You protected her? And then, in that battle against the Dark God, I saw my chance. I batted her aside as she cowered from Gloomweaver's attack and took full, permanent control. I could pursue my plans more directly now. I bent allies and foes to my will, sowing seeds of anarchy and deception. But something I did must have tipped off the heroes. The virtuoso of the void caught up with me at the cosmic contest. He sacrificed some of his own power and banished me, ejecting me from my body. I spiraled into the void until the entity found me. He was Oblivion, and he saw me as a potential asset to his plans. He offered me power and another chance to do what I love. I took the power. I absorbed the power. I reveled in the power. I am Dark Mind! She's gone? Really gone? I'm free. I'm whole. For the first time in years, I am myself, uninhibited by that evil person. Now, at my full power, I join the heroes once again to save the multiverse from the being Oblivion. We fought back Darkmind and defeated Oblivion, saving the multiverse. Now I continue my vigil. There are still more threats to face, and I still wish to look after the little dreamer. I will protect the world, no matter the cost. And now it is time to make some game mechanics comparisons. But while Vanessa Long has a hero and a villain deck, they aren't exactly the same. Visionary pretty much has the full suite of conventional psychic powers. Telepathy, mind control, future sight, telekinesis, illusion, psionic assault, and even reality warping abilities. Indeed, if she wasn't inhibited by the Dark Mind, she'd be one of the most powerful characters in the universe. The Dreamer doesn't do all those things. The Dreamer plays a lot on fear. Her own fears are warped into powerful constructs, and her paranoid mind preys on the fear of others. She still has direct psionic attacks, especially when she's waking up from her coma, but she doesn't develop her full use of power until later. More on that soon. There are some things I can talk about concerning her promo variants and Darkmind. Her base version has her fighting alongside other heroes, and since she is being careful not to overextend herself, she minimizes actual combat in favor of helping the heroes, giving them information, encouragement, coordination, and this comes in the form of drawing cards. Dark Visionary's power leans more into her future sight. It allows her to peek at the top cards of whatever deck she wants and rearrange them. Visionary Unleashed is the good Visionary without her evil version occupying her mind, allowing her to take a much more active role in fighting. And if she gets well set up, she can really deal some damage, on top of what she can already do. Now Darkmind gets a little interesting. She is a scion of Oblivion. She was given form and power to do his bidding. Each scion has a card associated with them, even though technically any of the scions can do these actions. On her card, she is directly messing with the minds of the heroes. This results in a bit of damage and destroyed ongoing cards, which you may note is the only scion card geared towards setup destruction besides things Empyrean does. The rest of the time, the primary setup destruction happening in Oblivion games is, well, heroes dying. On Darkmind's front side, she takes a peek into a hero's mind, and blocks off some of their abilities. She directly takes cards from that hero's deck, and puts them under her card. Then she deals a large amount of damage to heroes each time she does this. When she's stolen enough secrets, she flips over and starts attacking the heroes in force. She can deal tons of damage in a short time, but she has the lowest hit point count of any of the scions, making her very much a glass cannon. However, it should be noted that Darkmind survived the Oblivion event in the canon. She's still out there. But there is one more narration to do. Back to the drama. My name is Vanessa Long, and I scare people. When I was 6, I retreated into myself. I was scared. My mind betrayed me, conjuring monsters to torment me and hurt the people around me. I frightened so many people. I hurt so many people. I refused to use my powers after that. And I didn't deliberately, but my subconscious mind did it anyways. All the time, I felt the emotions of people around me. I felt their glows of joy, their sparks of anger, and every creeping shadow of fear. I had to do something about it. So in middle school, I began to experiment with my power. I could sense feelings more vividly, and I could change them. I could boost someone's confidence, quiet their fears, or debilitate them by deepening those fears, preying on them. I tried to avoid that though. It's not a good thing to do to people. For the longest time, my parents never spoke of my coma or the people I hurt. I thought they were being polite, or pretending it never happened. However, I discovered from testing my powers that someone entered their minds and blocked those memories, making it as if, in their minds, it never happened. I knew I could help them, so I carefully removed those blocks, bringing those memories back. Do I regret doing that now? I'm not sure. When the blocks were gone, they remembered everything. My powers, The monsters, the fear. The fear came back to them. They were afraid of me. They loved me, but they were afraid of me. Their memories, my presence, even our home frightened them. Things had never been the same since. So we moved out. My parents left our home for someplace else. I didn't go with them. I went to Megalopolis, to Freedom Plaza. The Freedom Five, the world's greatest team of heroes, operated that school. If anybody could teach me how to control my powers, they could. I will become a hero. I will save people, not hurt them. I will be their muse. I will help. Muse is the hero identity of the main universe's Vanessa Long. Like Visionary, Muse has a broad area of psionic abilities, but they're more specialized towards messing with other people's minds, primarily illusion and empathic abilities. You can see these traits on her RPG character sheet, provided with the Stolen Legacy one-shot. What? I'm talking about mechanics in the RPG? You bet your patootie I am! I will admit though, I haven't really played. Everything I know is from reading the rulebooks, not practice. This is all going to be interpretation and book smart stuff. First, her personality and values stem from her principles. In this case, the principle of mastery and the principle of the inner demon. Inner demon, obviously, represents the darker side of her powers, the power and potential danger she poses when she unleashes. And mastery is her control. She works hard to prevent her powers from hurting people. Look at her powers in quantities and you will see a variety of powers available to her. You'll note that she is best at suggestion and telepathy, as well as her insight quality. These play into her empathic abilities. She is least skilled at invisibility and telekinesis, both as variations of warping reality. Though I guess invisibility can be illusion, depending on how you're doing it. And then we have her special abilities. And while I will not be talking about all the particulars of how the RPG works, since that's at least 1 or 2 videos on its own, I will talk about the different zones here. In combat situations, the RPG runs on the gyro system. Gyro standing for green, yellow, red, and out. It's a system based around escalating combat. Things get more dangerous as they get closer to the red zones, but the heroes gain more powerful abilities. So if a hero is in the green zone, indicated by this little chart by your hit points, you only get the green skills. If you are in the yellow zone, then you get the green and the yellow skills. If you are in the red zone, you get all the skills. If your hit points reach 0, you are taken out of the fight. However, you can still do things while knocked out. A lot like the incapacitation abilities from the Sentinels of the Multiverse card game. With that in mind, let's examine these abilities. Both of the outcomes are tied to her principles, which we already went over. Your Best Selves is a powerful boost ability for the whole party, essentially improving all their attacks and overcome rolls until her next turn. Mental Block is an attack and a hinder, so it damages the enemy and makes their next roll weaker. It seems like a fairly chill method of impairing an enemy without being too invasive. But when things get more serious, she gets the yellow abilities. Open Your Inner Eye is a self-boost and minor attack. The boost is also persistent, so it will remain until the end of the scene instead of being used up on the next roll. The attack is a bit of a bonus. Conjured Nightmare is a more invasive hinder, affecting multiple opponents. Overwhelmed Mind goes even further, hindering an opponent that's attacked by it, or if it defeats the enemy, she can briefly mind control it for a single action. And then Twist Your Mind. No, that's Rest the Mind. Get it right, editor. Twist the Mind is a heavy attack on the baddie, but it also hinders them, and this hinder is persistent, lasting until the end of combat. Whatever she's doing with their minds, it must be traumatic. Notice how she gets a lot more aggressive in the yellow zone. It gets even more so in the red zone. Before we get to those skills, let me bring your attention to the health tracker. Whatever zone you are in can affect the strength of your status dice, and it's different for each character. For Muse, her status dice stays at 6 for green and the yellow zones, signifying that she is being chill and reserved. But as soon as she gets into the red zone, that die changes from a D6 to a D12. Essentially, she realizes it's an emergency and she lets loose, becoming a terror on the battlefield. Perfect Intuition is Muse's only innate ability, and she doesn't get it until she's in the red zone. It makes the die for suggestion rolls larger, potentially making them more powerful. Debilitate is a powerful hinder, as it's affected by more than one die. It'll nerf them like it's nobody's business. Also, if you roll doubles on 2 of your dice, you can even add injury to insult by attacking the enemy using the dice you already rolled. However, be careful with this attack, because Muse will also hurt herself using it. And if she's in the red zone, extra damage is going to be a bit risky. She's stretching her powers, but it's a big strain on her. Shared Terror is another powerful move, this one an attack. You roll your dice and add them all to your attack instead of just the mid or max die. With even a marginal amount of luck, it will hit like a truck. However, there is a price to pay. At the end of the attack, you must take a major twist. What are those? I'll get into them in a future video. Let's just say it will complicate the situation you are in. And of course, if Muse were to be incapacitated in a fight, she can use her turn to boost an ally. So with Muse, you see the need to protect people as seen from the combination of her principles. But you can also see the influence of both Visionary and Dark Mind on her. You see a little bit of their methods and the internal struggles that Muse and Visionary face, and the looming presence of a potential new Dark Mind, always in the background. That was a lot. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that the later bits convince you to take a look at the RPG. Take care, friends. Okay, let's see if my voice hasn't died from that. On Dark Mind's Frunch. It's a French. So if a hero is in the green zone... Thanks, Meg. So it will remain until the end of the scene instead of being used... Megan, why are you interrupting me? The boost is also persistent. So and for that, take Fred. Really? Ugh. The voice work, man. Hurts the throat. Need to drink my blood now. Blood that tastes suspiciously like cranberry juice. Also, I just realized that I forgot to bring Mr. Chomps down here. 1 minute.